Even in this highly charged election, it turns out millions of people didn't vote. Even in this election. I thought, how in the world could people not vote in this highly charged election? So I started going through some of the reasons. Now, some people said they couldn't find their polling places. They didn't know where to vote. Really? Have you ever heard of Google? Let's see. Don't know where to vote. How about Googling, where do I vote? Ding! There you go. Enter your state, enter your city, enter your zip code, find out where to go vote. Or here's another option. How about keeping your eyes open as you go around town on election day? Guess what you see? Signs that say, vote here. Or another style that says, vote here. Or how about a sign as big as a used car lot sale sign saying, vote here? There's just no excuse. Of course, you can easily find out where to vote. Now, some people said they didn't like either candidate. I mean, look at this, I hate both t-shirt, or these candidates suck lawn sign, and then a ballot that says I'm against one or against the other. Yeah, we all get that. These are the two most hated candidates in history, right? But who did you expect to run? I see. Han Solo, yes, that was a good alternative, or Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock. Now, come on. You know as well as I do why those are not reasonable wishes. Are you serious? Han Solo was not American, and neither was Spock. Han was born on Corellia, and Spock was a Vulcan. So, according to the Constitution, not eligible to run. Although, their vice presidential picks would have been interesting, wouldn't they? I do think Chewbacca and Spock would have made short work of either of the opponents in this case, right? I think those would have been very fast and clearly decided vice presidential debates. Look at Chewbacca. Boy, he would have made short work of Tim Kaine, wouldn't he? Look at Spock. He would have made short work of Pence, I think. But actually, when you think about it, look at these two. If you wanted to go for a wild-haired candidate like Chewbacca, you had Trump, not a bad alternative in the wild hair department. If you were looking more for a coldly calculating candidate like Spock, perhaps, I give you Hillary Clinton, right? Pretty cold and calculating. So even that was no excuse for not voting in this case. How about voters who didn't think they knew where the candidates stood on the issues? How about that one? Really, again, you don't know how to find this out? I recommend you go to Google and you put in Clinton on the issues or Trump on the issues. Look what comes up right at the top of the search results. I can't emphasize this enough. You don't even have to go to a website, or didn't even have to go to a website. Clinton on the issues, boom, there it is, a list of issues. You click on the icon of the one you want. It opens up a little window. Excerpt from a speech she gave or an interview she gave, link to the full article or video, swipe to the right, another example. I mean, it couldn't get any easier than this, and the exact same interface existed for Trump. All you had to do was Google Trump on the issues, Clinton on the issues. All right, well, maybe the candidates, some people said, the candidates didn't address the issues important to me. Oh, come on. According to the Pew Research Center, the top two issues on voters' minds this election were the economy and terrorism. Well, did the candidates say anything about the economy? Yeah. Here's an excerpt from one of Hillary Clinton's many speeches about the economy. Just one excerpt to grab one at random. Here she is, Clinton on the economy.
I believe every American willing to work hard should be able to find a job that provides dignity, pride, and decent pay that can support a family. So starting on day one, we will work with both parties to pass the biggest investment in new, good-paying jobs since World War II. We will put Americans to work, building and modernizing our roads, our bridges, our tunnels, our railways, our ports, our airports. We are way overdue for this, my friends. We are living off the investments that were made by our parents and grandparents' generations.
Yes, our parents' and grandparents' generations. You know, those former people in history that actually voted in elections. So Hillary Clinton talked about the economy, and so did Donald Trump. People say he didn't give anything of substance. Sure he did. Here's an excerpt from one of his many speeches, this about the economy.
Under this American system, every policy decision we make must pass a simple test. Does it create more jobs and better wages for Americans? It's a test. If we lower our taxes, remove destructive regulations, and we have to do that, unleash the vast treasure of American energy, and negotiate trade deals that put America first, then there is no limit to the number of jobs we can create and the amount of prosperity we can unleash. America will truly be the greatest place in the world to invest, hire, grow, and to create new jobs, new technologies, and entire new industries.
See? Trump on the economy. And that guy in the background didn't even stop eating his dinner, and he managed to absorb what Trump had to say about the economy. There was just no excuse for anybody else. What was number 2 on that list by Pew? Terrorism. Voters were worried about terrorism. Did the candidates say anything about terrorism? Of course they did. Trump had comments about it. He had ideas on what to do. Clinton had ideas on what to do about it. You just had to get out there and put forward a little bit of effort to look at what they thought about the issues. Now, some voters said they didn't have time to make up their minds. Didn't have time? When do you think this whole thing began? Last week? A day ago? I mean, look at this. 24 million people tuned in to see the first primary debate 15 months ago. 15 months ago. And if you couldn't have been attracted to something that brought in 24 million people, the kind of number that usually tunes into a big sporting event, what in the world does it take to get your attention? So there was lots of media coverage and lots of time to make up your mind. Well, maybe, I don't know, maybe you thought it didn't matter because you didn't live in one of the key 4 states that matter to the Electoral College. Here's what you might have been thinking.
The Electoral College weighs each state's importance in the election based on population. The result is that California, Michigan, Ohio, and Florida get like 90% of the candidates' attention, while Nebraska and their 5 electoral votes get told to f*** off. Don't worry, Nebraska's used to it.
You suck, Nebraska!
Well, with apologies to Nebraska, yeah, that is kind of how it goes. The electoral system is a drag, so I can see where someone might think my vote will be wasted. But it's true that most states, whoever gets the majority gets all of the electoral votes. And you might think, well, I'm going to be in the 49% or at least sub 50% zone, so my vote will be wasted. Yeah, but if enough people vote the way you do, then you'll be in the majority, and the candidate you support will get those electoral votes. So that's not really much of an excuse either. Let's put it this way. You certainly don't stand a lower chance of affecting the election by abstaining from the vote entirely, right? At least if you vote, there's a chance you can have some influence on it. Now, how much influence? Okay, admittedly, not a whole lot. According to Nate Silver, you may recognize his name. He's the guy that runs the 538 blog where he looks at poll aggregation and tries to determine the outcomes in advance. He participated in a paper for the National Bureau of Economic Research that concluded a voter on average has only a 1 in 60 million chance of being decisive in the presidential election. I mean, 1 in 60 million. Okay, pretty low, right? Actually, come to think of it, why don't you continue not voting in these elections? If I've got the numbers right, 93 million people, eligible voters, already skipped the vote. So a few more groups of that size, and I could really be in business here. I'm one voter. I always vote. Even from Japan, I always vote. So let's see, 1 in 60 million chance. If 59,999,999 more of you decide not to vote, that means I will solely determine the outcome of the presidential election. And let's see, who would I choose? I would choose me. So, don't vote, America. Wait, you're not done yet. We'd love it if you subscribe. So please click that subscribe button, and then you can go.